What is up, everybody? We are back for episode 18 of the B Main. We have
Is
a
it
lot
18 or
of headlines.
19?
It might be 19.
I think we're in 19 now.
We might be at 19. I might not have updated that. But, so our headlines anyway. Landon Pembelton wins the Valley Star Credit Union 300 for the second time. Rico Abreu and Tony Stewart Racing are merging assets and teams for 2026 and beyond. The Snowball Derby announces a change in their tire compound. Hudson O'Neal wins the Knoxville Late Model Nationals. RTJ wins the Brownstown 100. And Chase Elliott steals victory from Toyota at Kansas. And the NASCAR Mod Tour had an all-time finish last week at Loudon.
Gavin, I think we had an excellent 2 weeks in racing. I think you and I have been thoroughly entertained. We've been having to catch up on all of our stuff. We're about to get to catch up with an excellent guest, one of my good friends that I've gotten to talk to all year long this year at South Boston Speedway. Kind of opened the door for us to have this relationship, and he is your two-time Valley Star Credit Union 300 winner, and his name is Landon Pembelton. Welcome in, Landon.
Hey, guys. I appreciate y'all having me on. I can't thank y'all enough for letting me join in.
Well, I know you're a busy man. You just talked about it. You were on a couple podcasts today. You're getting to do some special stuff. But we'll get to Martinsville in a bit. I kind of want to allow the fans that watch to get to know you. Obviously, you and your family have been known in racing. What kind of sparked your interest? I know you and your family have run deep in racing.
Yeah, so my dad is honestly the one who got me going, and I started when I was 8 years old racing go-karts, and started on a dirt go-kart platform just like Denny Hamlin did. That's probably the best example I have for most people. Started at Capital City Speedway and up in northern Richmond, Virginia, and we kind of launched off from there. Racing's been kind of our livelihood every weekend since then, and it's been a real pleasure to grow up, and I feel like more kids should get into some kart racing, and I feel like kart racing is kind of starting to die down a little bit, and we definitely need some more kids getting into the sport. Hopefully, I will put myself out there to willingly help younger kids that just want to get into racing and learn and have a good time at the same time.
Well, I'd have to agree with you. The younger you can get into racing, the absolute better. And I'm glad that you got in when you were able to. Let's jump to 2021. That's the first kind of baseline that I have, at least, of some of your racing career. That was pretty much a breakout year for you. You were obviously the Virginia State Champion in D1 with late model stocks. You were 10th in overall NASCAR Auto Parts Weekly Series standings. And, of course, that was the year you won your first 300. But kind of take me through that first year in late models for you, because that was a lot, and you did a lot of different stuff that year.
Yeah, so basically, late model stocks is what always kind of what I dreamed of wanting to do. That's what's hit home for me, and for me and my family, to be exact. And my dad's been a real avid supporter of late model stocks since the mid '90s, and to be able to carry on a legacy for him to keep on racing and go after a late model stock wins and compete with some of the best that you can compete with is something that I've always thrived for. So that was a really strong year for us coming out of the bag, rookie of the year, and I feel like going into Martinsville, we just wanted to make the show, and enjoy it, and we actually made the show, qualified fourth, and finished second in our heat race, but led majority of it, and went on to win the thing. So that's all you can really ask for, and that's an unbelievable moment for me and my family. I feel like this year has sunk in a little bit quicker than the other one did, but I feel like this year made that one sink in even more. So it just kind of made me not take it for granted as much. And not saying I did take it for granted, but I do take it a little bit more to heart now. So very thankful to have both of them.
Well, they're extremely special. Go ahead, Gavin.
I'm going to ask real quick about that 2021 win. And so that was your first time running that race at Martinsville, you just said. And so what were your expectations going into that race? I mean, your first time at the track in that car, and you end up winning. What was your mindset throughout the weekend where, you get there and then you qualify fourth, then you're really good in your heat? And how'd your mindset change through the weekend?
Honestly, it stayed the same from the time we got there to the time we finished the race. We went into it just wanting to make the show, of course, and qualified fourth, had a very strong race car, and and this the same goal went into the heat race. Let's just make the show, and made the show. Had a great starting position. I think we started 7th that year, and we started 7th this year, and so by coincidence, we win both years. So I don't know if it's quite a coincidence or if it's luck or what it is, but I feel like the 7th starting spot has always done me pretty good. And same thing as South Boston this year. 8th, we qualified 8th both times we won, and we've won the race. So it's seems like it's a little bit of coincidence behind it, but not saying it definitely isn't. But the mindset through the weekend stayed the same. When we went to the race, we just wanted to complete the race and not tear anything up. So to make the race, you got to finish the race, and to win races, you have to finish the race. So, and that's kind of how we went into it.
Well, obviously, all of the time of your career that has gotten you to this point has been your family and your talent. Still talking about 2021, you obviously have competed at some different tracks throughout the year, but for the most part, you've stayed within Virginia. Where did you race at that year in 2021, and what led you to those where you were able to think, hey, let's go compete for this first 300?
Honestly, I probably did more racing that first year than I did ever since then. I feel like in 2022 I probably raced as much as I did in 21. But I probably raced more races in 2021 in Virginia than I had in a long time. Kart racing, it's a little different. They have races every weekend nonstop. And in 2021 we were bouncing back and forth between Dominion, South Boston, and a little bit of Langley at the same time, and it hits home for me being able to race at all 3 of those racetracks in Virginia. That's kind of what I've grown up around, and I remember the first day Dominion opened, and it was just all I could dream of was going around that racetrack. So to be able to have good finishes at every racetrack that year was really good for me and my team back then, and now we've advanced on and matured up as a team and as a driver and as a person. So. And I feel like there's a lot of great stuff we can do.
Well, and I'd have to agree with you. Let's go in and move on to the next year. You talked about 2022. You ran a lot of races as well. It wasn't the most fruitful for you. That was your last until this year, one of your most recent full-time seasons at South Boston. But, 2022, 2023 was a bit of a gap for you in that success. Did that ever weigh on you or you and your team? And what kept you around to say, I want to get back in this fight? And, you're going to have some unlucky times, but I'm not going to let this beat me down.
For sure. Going into 2022, we were all living off that high of Martinsville winners and really good stats through the year. 2021 Rookie of the Year, Virginia State and Southeast Regional Rookie of the Year. And it was a lot of stuff that went into that program that year that relayed over the 2022. And I just felt like we were expecting so much out of 2022, and it just wasn't quite there. And then we go into 2023 as well, where we tried to do a little Cars Tour racing, and the luck wasn't there. And that's just part of it, That's what's so humbling about this sport. You can go from an all-time high to an all-time low very quick. 2022, we had a lot of fun racing. I will say that I was able to do some upper-level experience stuff along ARCA. I was actually able to do 4 races, and that was very, very special to me. And being able to do a little bit of upper-level stuff. So that's kind of what I really, really thrive off of, is just trying to work hard and perfect my craft, and just show that there's talent out there that can make it up.
Well, what do you think? Do you think everything from 2021 allowed those ARCA starts for 2022, or is that something that you and your family just kind of figured out and said, hey, we're going to make this work financially?
So actually, since you say that, Billy Venturini reached out to us, and Chad Bryan, I feel like Chad Bryan had a pretty good play in that as well. Chad Bryan was at the racetrack when we won the Valley Star Credit Union 300 in 2021, and he complimented me very highly of me, and at that time he was racing a little bit of ARCA stuff, and then went into next year with Daniel Dye, and he told Billy this kid deserves a seat, and Billy reached out to us, and everything worked out. Was able to have some good opportunities and some good runs, and I felt like we could have probably had some better runs if I had some more experience. I'd only been in a full body stock car for 2.5 years, so that's kind of where I was at with it. And I feel like now if I was able to go do it, I feel like I'd go have a good shot at everything.
Well, and we'll definitely get to talk about some future stuff and what you're looking towards in the future after this Martinsville win. But let's move on and go to 2024. That year, you decide to run full-time at Dominion. Obviously, the years before, you'd bounced around a little bit. You were at South Boston a little bit in 2022. But this year, in 2024, you decided to stay at Dominion. What made you and your family make that decision to kind of stick in one place? And what do you think led you eventually to that championship in 2024 with the late model stocks?
Well, honestly, it was just about making good. We wanted to make a decision just to commit completely to something instead of just bouncing around, kind of doing our own thing. And we committed to having a end goal, and the end goal was to win a track championship, whether that being at South Boston, Dominion, or whatnot, And we were able to fire on all eight right there at Dominion with Tyler Hughes. He's still a great friend of mine. I can't thank him enough for what he's done for me, and he's done a lot for me as a friend. Outside of a racetrack, I mean, I just bought a couch from him 2 weeks ago, so he's a really good friend of mine, and he's done a lot for me behind the wheel and in life. He's a really good friend of mine, and I actually I call him about 2 or 3 times a week and just kind of just BS with him a little bit, and just have a good time.
You got to have guys like that in your life.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
But following up with 2024, you ran this race with Lee Pulliam last year. Can you give us some insight on that experience last year, racing for a different team than you're normally racing with?
Well, Lee gave me a really, really excellent opportunity to go run at Martinsville for where the finances just didn't matter, and it was we were just going to go have some fun. I don't want to get into all of that because that's kind of beside the point. We're there to race, and he gave me a really, really great opportunity that was better than racing my own stuff. So and to be able to do that and go have fun alongside of one of my mentors growing up was always it was a very cool experience to work alongside him. He's a very, very talented individual, and he's one of those talents that just kind of slipped through the cracks that really deserves to be racing on a Sunday. I'll be honest with you, and it will make you just think, what in the heck is going on in this world when he doesn't make it on Sunday or racing in a truck or Xfinity or racing anything upper level, But and I got a really good taste of that this weekend, why he should be racing on a Sunday.
Well, and we got to see it right in front of our eyes. And talking about that 2024 experience, do you think any of those inner workings, obviously that was a year ago from right now, do you think seeing the inner workings of his team, do you think it gave you any sort of jump or bump within your team into 2025 to help y'all improve and continue to get better? Because you said to me at the South Boston Speedway Championship night, you said that this year on record for 2025 was your best to date.
Yeah, for sure. I probably didn't get as much experience from them just from that weekend, just being it was a tough weekend for us, I'll be honest with you. I had to go to the infield care center after that race, and it just, nothing worked out how it needed to. And I feel like tires were kind of our problem because we unloaded and we were really solid, and then we bolt the race tires on, and it's in left field. So, and it's out of your control. That's the only 4 things on a race car that's touching the ground is the 4 tires on it. So, and that's the one thing you can't control. So, being able to learn alongside of him has helped me, sure. But I think going into this past weekend, I don't think it did much for me as I was never able to race around. I've never been able to race around Lee. And he's a very, very talented individual, that's for sure. And he's tough. I feel like if he was coming to race on a weekly experience, a lot of guys would be in trouble racing against him, that's for sure.
Well, and it was such a fun battle to get to watch. We're continuing to build up to it because obviously I got to meet you this year at South Boston Speedway, and y'all decided to run full-time this year at Sobo, and you'd run at Dominion the year before. But obviously you and your team make that decision to run here, but I imagine it's probably a difficult decision because you're saying, hey, I'm about to race a full season against Peyton Sellers and Trevor Ward. And obviously throughout the season you prove that, hey, I'm alongside those names. You and Trevor are good friends and have become great friends throughout this year. I kind of just want to hear about your personal experience of 2025 and kind of what it meant to you to run at Sobo.
Honestly, it's been a spectacular year. As you can see, got Trevor Ward on my shirt, man.
I need to get one.
Dude, they're awesome T-shirts, and I will let the cat out the bag. We're going to be making some T-shirts. This is my first time in 10 years making a T-shirt in my racing career, and we're gonna make it look good. So I'm sure we'll have some for some folks, and really looking forward to making them look good. So just like Trevor's here, and I actually did get one of Peyton's too. So I'm a racing fan at heart, and that's kind of what I just grown up around. And this year really hit home for me being able to race around Peyton. Weren't on the same team this year, but man, we race good, hard, and respect it. And that's kind of what short track racing needs to take note of is what we did at South Boston this year. We didn't tear nothing up. If we did tear something up, it was always because of a freak accident. It was never anything that was deliberately done or intentional by any means. I feel like short track racing is getting a bad rap from some folks taking out people intentionally, wrecking each other for the win. That's not what this thing is about. It's about having fun and going enjoying yourself on the weekend. You work during the week to go enjoy yourself on the weekends, what most people do. So at least that's what I do, and I'm not into wrecking people for wins and wrecking people just to do it. And if you get angry at each other, it's you don't have to wreck each other. Just go have a simple conversation. It's pretty easy. And that's a manly and mature thing to do. But like I said, this year was a great year for us. Got 2 wins, not as much as we wanted to get, but we had a lot of top 3, top 5 finishes that you don't want to hang your hat about. And to be great, you have to finish races, and you got to crawl before you can walk. So that is kind of where I'm at, and I feel like we're getting into that walking now, and with this new team, R&S Race Cars, Marcus Richmond, and I feel like we're going to have some I think we're going to come out of the bag next year shooting.
Well, you lead me right into my next question. One of my questions I had down about your relationship with Marcus Richmond and R&S Race Cars, and kind of I'd love to hear how that came about and what it's been like within this year in your career, and what you think it's added to you and your family's program.
Right. I think we were with Sellers Racing for 5 years. That was an experience like no other. I got a clock with them. I've won a lot of races with them. Won 10 in 2024. But it was just time for a change, and I felt like I felt like the better opportunity arose, and we took advantage of it. So you can't say nothing bad about it. And HC and Peyton, they're still like mentors to me. HC, honestly, more so than Peyton is. Peyton has been a great mentor as well, but just helping me get acclimated to a stock car. HC has done a ton for me, and we spent numerous days during COVID when everything was shutting down. Dominion allowed us to go practice up there, and me and HC would go up there, and my dad, and we'd go up there and enjoy the day and just learn, and that's all we could do. And we learned a lot, and made our program just a lot better for the years to come.
So one thing I want to ask you, talking about building this program and this being a pretty new race team, is while you're running this full season at South Boston, you've been prepping your car specifically for this race for over a month. So what is that like with a new race team, relatively speaking, having to, prep for a big race coming up while you're still competing for a championship?
Honestly, man, we had gotten to a point about halfway through the year where we started hitting on all 8 cylinders. I mean, it was beautiful what we were doing. We would show up to the racetrack, show up with good race cars and tune on them, and I feel like we had a couple races taken away from us that we really should have had really good shots at. I'm not going to say that we could have won them, but we had some good chances to run really good. Specifically, the July 4th race at South Boston. That was a big one for me, and very, very scary incident that happened that night. But I like to always look at the good, never the bad. So we transpired into a race team that started striving for excellence, and we had some great race cars. I mean, it's all you can ask for, and all you can do is put your best foot forward, and that's where I was at with it. We were putting our best foot forward, and we were having good runs. So that's kind of what led us to a good 3rd place finish. You can't hang your hat on nothing about that.
No, not at all. I mean, the third place finish in your first year at a track with a relatively new team is super impressive. And, when you went to Martinsville this last weekend, you had a good first day of practice, but after practice, you guys had to change a transmission before qualifying. What was the build up before qualifying and the heat races like with a brand new transmission in the car and just kind of making sure everything's going to run smoothly?
Honestly, I was hoping the rain was going to take care of the situation for me. We seen some rain on the radar, and I seen it coming, and I was really honestly hoping that it would rain, but we managed to qualify good, and we've been struggling with it all year, as I've talked to Scott about numerous times. It was a struggle for us this year, and I'm glad we hit it at the right time. That's for sure. And if you want to hit it anywhere, it's to hit it at Martinsville, where you need to qualify and have good track position going into a heat race. Man, it was such a hassle this year for qualifying. I was praying for rain so much, and then we got there. I was so nervous. I knew we had a good race car, and we went and qualified, and it was good. So that's all you can ask for. And just very thankful we got it turned around at the right time of the year. And hopefully going into next year, we can work on it. And like I said, we have been working on it since March of this year. So we're going to see if we can pick it back up next March.
I mean, you and me, literally, I mean, Gavin, and every time me and Landon would talk at pre-race, every race of me just getting to talk with him, he was like, yep, we got to find qualifying speed. And pretty much every single week. And Landon, when I saw the qualifying, I was like, yes, they got it. They got the qualifying speed.
Right.
They found it.
Finally found it at the perfect time, too.
For sure. That's yeah, we were able to pick it up at the right time. But I feel like it's just a South Boston thing for us, like our package was relatively the same that we took from South Boston to Martinsville, and that's really kind of unheard of, we took it there and we unloaded really good like we do at South Boston, and we're able to just fire on all 8, and then we just tuned on it a little bit in practice, and then we had the transmission, unfortunate. But we were able to get one in like less than 30 minutes. So, I mean, we worked really, really hard to get that thing in there and to try and get another run at the end of practice. But time was out at that point, and I wasn't worried about it because we went through the gears on it. I had on the jack stands and went through the gears, and everything felt good. So, and then we go out for qualifying, and everything worked out how it was supposed to.
I mean, that is great preparation and just a lot of hard work and a little bit of luck from your team just to make everything work there at the end. And you were talking about the rain and, praying for the rain to give you a little extra time to work on the car. And during the race, you had 2 weather breaks. What do you do during a race just to stay sharp if weather comes and something like that happens? You have to, get out of the race car and stand around for a little bit.
Honestly, I was praying for the rain to go away in the middle of the race. It's because I felt like the rain was helping us more so than it did hurt us, especially towards the end of the race. I think he was the one that got a little bit of misfortune from the rain, but he still had a great race car regardless. But honestly, man, like the first rain break, I went around, talked to people, and enjoyed myself. Then we got to that last 25 laps, and it was time to lock in. So when that rain hit it with 25 to go, I think I sat on the wall and stared at the ground for a good 20 to 25 minutes, just finding what I could do to get around Lee without trying to wreck him or trying to move him, finding where his weakness was. And I found where his weakness was, and I was able to move him right when he was in the middle of his weakness, and it all worked out how it needed to.
And one thing I want to ask is when you're trying to, like you just said, trying to find a weak spot in an opponent on a racetrack mid-race during a red flag, was that a lot of, I guess, getting on flow and watching film, or does your team have an in-car camera that you can watch? And what is the, data that you get on a weekly series race as opposed to what teams are working with on Saturday and Sunday in NASCAR?
So honestly, all the data is right in my head. That's just all I needed. And I am a very critical person on myself to do better and to find what I need to do to perfect what I'm doing. And it all comes back to my head. Like, honestly, I went back and watched the race not too long. Honestly, I haven't even went back and watched the entire race. I watched the last 5 laps. So And that's on social media. You can go find that on Flow, Twitter, Instagram,
Yeah.
and I was just trying to see what I could do a little bit better on that overtime to get me a little bit more distance between Lee, so he didn't have to make any type of contact,
Mm-mm.
and it won't nothing I could do or he could do to get that little bit of distance squared away. It was I think the 14 Fryer he got a little loose coming off of two and wasn't able to fill that hole that I had there for him, and it gave Lee a shot to try and get me a little out of shape. I'm not gonna say he was gonna try and rough me up or destroy my race car. He was just gonna
Mm-mm.
race me, and that's what short track racing is.
Well, and I like that you mentioned that because I wanted to talk about, getting into the nitty-gritty of the end of this race. Obviously,
Yeah.
you started seventh, and slowly, methodically, through the first 100 laps and through the rain, you were able to gain 4 spots, and you're eventually up to third. Had the little incident there with Trevor Ward, got into him a little
Yeah.
bit. We were at the point where it close racing, and then him and Lofton obviously fall back after Trevor goes out. Lofton seems like he probably overheated his tires, but then it was just between you and Lee. Fryer and Majeski were there at some points, but it really, like you said in your interview, at the end of the day, it was going to be you or Pulliam.
Yeah.
It was y'all were trading it back and forth, but with 9 to go on one of those final restarts, it was the second to last. Lee started to pull away, and with about
Yep.
we obviously got that caution with 2 to go. When he was pulling away, it was about 0.6 of a second for you. Was there ever a
Yep.
point in your mind where you were thinking, second's a great result?
Oh, 100%. Before that caution ever fell, I was very content with running second to Lee. He was a hair bit better at the end of the race than me. It was whoever was going to get out front, and whoever's out front at Martinsville usually walks away with it, just like it did the first year I won the clock. When I got out front, I was a half straightaway ahead, and that's hard to believe at Martinsville too with that many great cars. And this past weekend, Lee was able to walk away from me a little bit, and I was giving it all I had, and he was still pulling me just a little bit every lap. And then the caution came out, and we're kind of re-racking them up again, and then it was time to go to war. So he won a couple of them battles on the restart. I won a couple of the battles on the restarts, and it was time to wrap up the war at the end, and thankfully we were able to come out on top.
Well, and y'all were going back and forth for it, and it was obviously I've seen you race all year long. I know how you're going to race, and I imagine Pulliam knew how you were going to race as well. Like you said in the weather interview, you said we're going to make some contact, but we're not going to tear up our stuff. And I know you've been a proponent of that all year long, pretty much all of
Yeah.
your career long, running with a family team. When you're able to make that pass down the front straightaway, taking the white flag, able to clear him off of 2. You just mentioned you were trying to let Fryer in by letting him fill that hole. But when you see that Pulliam has a little bit of a shot down out of 2 and into 3,
Yep.
I saw that you kind of overcooked 3 a little bit to try to get away from
Yeah.
him. Was that your goal, to just kind of shoot up the track and make sure he didn't slam you out of the way?
Honestly, yeah, yes and no. I didn't want to overshoot it by as much as I did, but I think me overshooting it as much as I did helped me more than it did hurt me, because he had it. I could tell by watching that last lap, he had it fully made up in his mind he was going to move me to try and get around me, and that's what happened. If he would have just tried not to move me, he very easily, I think, could have beat me. So, and I'm very thankful that I was able to get up and hit the gas as hard as I could and get some grip up off of 4 and drag race to the line. And he almost got me. I mean, looking at it, it was a little too close for comfort for me personally. And I really, honestly, at the end of the race, I didn't know it was even that close. I knew we were side by side, but I didn't know we were quite that close. So, just very thankful for the good Lord above gave me a little bit of rear grip up off of 4.
Well, I was thinking, even though you didn't mean to overshoot 3 that far, you being able to get to the gas so fast and having that momentum from overshooting the corner probably was just that last 200th that you needed to get across the line. It kind of made me think about, I obviously, when I saw it, I'm thinking about it from a broadcaster perspective and saying, oh my gosh, I wish I was in Eric Brennan's shoes. But it brings me back to a close call race we had in the Pure Stocks at Sobo, and I saw it was, I think it was Dylan and Reeves off of 4, and they were side by side, and I said, okay, I got to look away from them and look just at the line. And I've got to imagine that's exactly what Eric Brennan did, because every time I rewatched it, it was, I mean, by literal inches.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it was a little too close for comfort, and thankfully we were able to come away with it, and that's all I can ask for. So really gonna soak it in, still soaking in a little bit. And it was that we were able to celebrate and enjoy the night Saturday night, and didn't get back to the hotel room till 4 o'clock. Tech went very smooth for all the competitors, so that's all you can ask for, is everyone being on an even playing field afterwards.
Yeah. Well, what did y'all do to celebrate? I mean, obviously you didn't leave the track, get back to the hotel till 4. I mean, what did that night look like after Victory Lane? I know. What did everything look like after Victory Lane?
Honestly, it was just a late race in general, and once we got wrapped up for Tech, man, we just sat around and just chatted, and that's all you can do. And if you go and look at Matt Weaver's Twitter, you'll see a video of us just chatting at the end of the trailer, talking about what I could have done a little bit better, honestly. And that's what makes talent perfect, and to win these races, you have to be perfect, and there's no room for error. And I feel like I made very minimal mistakes on Saturday, and I felt like I had one bad restart, and after that, I picked it right back up and was a drag race to the line with Lee after that. So basically just sat around, chatted, and went to Sheets, got me a little food, and then went to sleep. It was just a late night at the racetrack, and that's what dreams are honestly made of, is sitting around chatting about a clock and winning the Valley Star Credit Union 300.
It's exactly what it is. Obviously, you're riding that high right now, and you're obviously going to let that sink in for sure for a while. Obviously, we've got a good bit of 2025 left. We've got just over 1 day over, 3 months left, and obviously in 2 of those months in October and November, there's a couple of bigger late model stock events. Obviously, we've got the South Carolina 400, Thanksgiving Classic, as well as the Crush 250 at Sobo. You and I were talking about it a little bit before we went live, but are there any plans to make any other race starts? Or I know you kind of want to end 2025 on this high.
Oh, for sure. And I'll be honest with you, I told a lot of people that we were going to be running Tri-County this weekend, and I kind of made, me and my dad and Marcus, we kind of made an executive decision yesterday that we were just going to sit it out and enjoy this high a little bit longer. I think we might do some later races towards the end of the year. When November hits, usually I'm doing a little bit of hunting, so that's kind of when the mood changes for me, when I get that 3-month break of hunting, and then we go back to racing in late February to March. So I think you'll definitely see me at some racetracks. I don't think I'll be driving at some of them, but it's a good chance that I could be. I'm not going to say that I'm not, but I'm not going to say that I am either. We're going to keep living off this high for a little bit. It's been an ecstatic last couple days for us and me and my family, and just looking forward to what's next, and hopefully we can get a track championship next year at South Boston.
Well, I know you love hunting, and I know.
That's what I was about to ask what kind of hunting you do.
So we do a little bit of whitetail deer hunting. We do a lot of deer hunting. That's strictly what my family is based off of. We do a lot of deer hunting, and my family, honestly, my uncle, my grandpa, their hunting is like my racing. So when I'm racing, they do hunting in the winter, and they're full out hunting, and me and my dad are the ones working as hard as we can. So and then when I'm out racing, they're the ones working while we're out having fun and enjoying ourselves. So it takes a football team to do what we do, and to enjoy life all together, for sure.
Well, and you do it all as a family. I remember I texted you, and you said I was happy to do this for me and my family. And I think,
Yeah.
one of our good friends, Timothy Watson, who's on the podcast here and there, he runs a family team down with Super Late Models in Pensacola and in Panama City. And I love to see things go well for guys like yourself and other teams that are just family owned, because especially in today's world with racing, it is getting tougher and tougher, especially financially.
Oh, for sure, and that's kind of honestly what's very sad about it now. There's a lot of talent. For instance, Lee Pulliam, he had to make it a business for him to be able to enjoy racing, and that's just I know he enjoys being a crew chief, a car owner, and all of that, but his talent behind the wheel is unmatched. I mean, it ain't. If anyone was to make it into to be racing on a Sunday, it should be him. It should be Philip Moore. It should be Peyton Sellers. It's a handful of people that should be racing on a Sunday, or Xfinity, or even trucks. Racing at a upper series level, and it's very sad. But I'm very thankful that my family supports me and helps me out with everything that I want to do, and supports my dreams. And honestly, my dreams are to just be a late model stock car great one day, And if any other opportunities arrive, I'm fully committed, and I'll do whatever I need to do to make it happen. But my ultimate goal is to be a Lee Pulliam, a Philip Morris, a Peyton Sellers of late model stock car racing. I want someone to look back in 20 years and say, this guy was a unreal natural talent, and I feel like I work really hard to perfect my craft and maintain composure even when some stuff aggravates me and whatnot. But that's what it all amounts to, is just being able to have fun and go do what you want to do on a weekend and enjoy it.
I love that. I mean, I really love the goals you've set for yourself, and they're extremely realistic. I mean, you've shown so much talent within you and your team in the past 5 years, and I love that you have those goals and can say, this is where we're going to shoot for. I hope that at some point when I'm not broadcasting and maybe I get some money, maybe you and me can go toe-to-toe. You'll obviously whoop my butt, but
I don't know about all that. I believe you might have got me at that race at Martinsville on iRace, and I don't remember very clearly.
We were very close, Gavin. Me and Landon talked about this as well. One point this year, it was right after I'd gotten the job at South Boston, and I joined up an iRacing C-Fixed at Martinsville. And I was like, I looked through the names, I was like, oh, Landon Pembelton. And I was like, wait a second, he races at Sobo. And I was like, I keyed up over the radio. It wasn't official yet that I was the announcer, so I was like, hey, Landon, you raced at Sobo this year? And he was like, yep. And I was like, great. And I was like, in my head, I wanted to say, yeah, I'm the announcer, but I couldn't say it yet.
Right. No, that's completely understandable. Like, when I get on iRacing, I'd take that just as serious as I do anything else. So
the same.
And,
I mean, that's the only outlook I get.
Yeah, honestly,
Scott's
and
seen
I
me
enjoy
crash
it.
out on iRacing a handful of times.
Well,
yeah, that's I get on iRacing here and there and enjoy a little bit of it, and honestly, I haven't been on it in a while. I usually save the iRacing until the off season, and
Yeah.
'cause I feel like iRacing has helped me in a lot, coming from a go-kart to a stock car, and then but then I feel like it also hurts me at some points during the season. Like, if we're racing every week, it's kind of hard to explain it sometimes, but I also feel like it helps me. It's a lot of pros and cons to it, and it's just different. It's not the same as a real life race car, but it's very, very similar, very similar. They have a great thing going right now, and I really think that it's a good avenue. Like, there's a lot of people now that are starting to get into racing just because of iRacing. Like, when I started iRacing, it was only 2,000 people on the service. Now it's like 10,000. It's crazy. It's unreal. It's so many people on there, and that's a really good thing for our sport.
Yeah, I mean, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've had, Timothy's told me, you drive with your butt, and in iRacing you drive with your hands. So it's there's a whole
100%.
ton of feel that you don't have when you're in the sim.
That's for sure. And he's dead on with that. I mean, when I get on iRacing, I drive off of total sight. I mean, but I feel like that has helped me in the real life race car. Like, I don't have to feel it all. I can see what the car is visibly doing with my hands and what's going on off the nose of the car. So, like I said, it's pros and cons to it all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, over the off season, you'll have to get on with us sometime. We'd love to have you race around us.
Oh, for sure. And we can definitely do that. That's for sure. And we can have a good time doing it as well. And That's what I always look forward to, is having a good time over the off season with and getting on there and racing with some friends and just keeping them friendships going until the next season. Then we're all competitors again. So.
Well, we'd love to have it. Man, this has been amazing. It's been a joy to have you on. It's
Yeah.
been a blessing. Anything you want to add before we close out this section?
Honestly, I just want to say thank you to all of my sponsors, my friends, my girlfriend, my family. It's a lot of people that go into this thing, and RNS Race Cars, Marcus Richmond, all those guys back at the shop. And then it's a whole football team that goes into this. And I think everybody has seen the video that NASCAR Regional put out of my crew celebrating after the race. It was a super
Oh
big
yeah.
night for my crew, just as big as it was for me. And I think I've went back and watched that video over 100 times, and it's really hit my heart and hit my gut. And it honestly gives me chills every time I go back and watch it, just showing how many people support me and have me by my side. And that's all I can ask for, is having great support. And really, the only thing else I have left to say is, any kid that wants to get in the race and that ever needs any help, um, just give me a call or shoot me a message on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I'm always willing to help. I help a lot of kids, and that's kind of where I'm at. I just want to help people grow, and I want to see the sport grow as well. And I want more late model stock car greats. I want your casual, your David Blankenships, your Wayne Pattersons, all those 1990 guys, all the way up to now, where you got Payne Sellers, you got Lee Pulliam coming back out. Um, from a race fan perspective, that's all that I can ask for. And I want kids to come in 10 years down the road and say, look, Landon Pembelton could be one of the greats one day. And that would really hit my heart a ton, because Philip Morris is a huge icon of mine. I'd say he's him and Peyton really are those guys, just being able to watch them grow up at Clarence's Steakhouse 26 is it's very special. And hopefully one day I will have the blessing to be able to drive that car. I just want to drive that car for one season. And that's David Blankenship has drove that car. It's a lot of high class elite drivers that's drove that car. And hopefully I want to put my name in there one day with them. And along with that, just being able to compete for wins still going on. And my goal at the end of the day is to be a late model stock car great. If I get some upper level stuff, like I said earlier, I'm always there to take it. And if it's the right opportunity, of course. And I don't want, if it's not there, it's not there. That's all you can do. And really, really just wanted, my bucket list is to be a late model stock car great and carry on a legacy that started in the 1980s and is still going on to now. So, and that's kind of where I'm at. Just want to be a great one day.
Well, your legacy is off to an excellent start. 2 Valley Star Credit Union 300 wins, a championship, and a big future ahead of you. Landon, me and Gavin couldn't appreciate you more for being on. We appreciate you a ton.
Yeah, thank you guys, and I'm looking forward to maybe being back on here some more. Y'all just give me a shout out, and I'll join right in.
We'll definitely have you
Awesome.
back.
Thanks, man.
Well, I mean, that was just so much fun getting to
That
talk
was
with
awesome.
Landon Pembelton and his experiences, a little bit of his early career. But let's get into our little breakdown from the Valley Star Credit Union 300. My first big thing is that Peyton Sellers misses the show.
I mean, that was, I guess, heat number 3 is the heat that he was in, and he was one spot short of the cut, and I think Ty Majeski was the one who knocked him out. And
It was.
when you're looking at 2 drivers that are that good fighting for the very last spot in a race, it's about to be an all-time classic.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great race with insane competition all the way through. But
Yeah.
it just felt like Peyton's car was off all night.
Well, apparently his qualifying time was disallowed.
Okay.
So, yes, so that's why he had to start from the back. But you saw how quickly he got up towards the back of the top 10 to get into a transfer spot. But then I'm trying to think of who it was that was giving him and Majeski such a hard time. And that kind of slowed down his progress, allowed Majeski to get by.
Was it a car steer guy? Because I feel like it was a name that I knew.
I feel like it was a name that I knew as well. I should remember, but I can't. But I was really surprised to see him not make the show. I bet that one hurt. I can't imagine that felt good, especially just coming off of his his championship, but I was really surprised to not see him make it. Some other notable deals.
Trevor Ward.
I was going to say
butts the first half of the race.
Trevor Ward, he told me he was going to come to Martinsville this year with his car because him and his team really have Martinsville figured out, and he continues to show that. I honestly just think that was a little bit of driver error. Obviously, him and Lofton were trying to figure out when they were going to go, trying to kind of work together to let one of them fall in line. But honestly, I think after it didn't work out, after Lofton kind of went later than Ward thought, I would have thought that Ward would have slowed up in turn 1 and let him by. And while, yes, he probably would have lost, more than just one position, he wouldn't have to come do a green flag stop or a drive-through. And so I kind of hate that it got taken away like that because, Ward was dominant.
He just was absolutely in a league of his own, and it was under green when he came to pit road, wasn't it?
Yep.
So, did they ever figure out what exactly it was? I never heard what the problem was. I just saw him go to pit road.
Well, I think that was the black flag.
Oh, that was a black flag. Okay, I didn't realize that.
He was penalized.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so obviously NASCAR penalized him for jumping the start. And normally in that scenario, I would think they would have called off the restart. But they decided to penalize him, and, I don't know. And that's why I was interested when it originally happened, that he didn't try to jump down in in turn 1 and try to, give the spot back.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, and then honestly, I wanted to speak on the rookies for Lofton. What an impressive race. Eventually finished top 10, but ran in the top 3 and top 5 for most of the race itself. Got a little bit taken over there near the rear, but I really have been impressed by Lofton this second half of 2025 and his continued development in late model stock competition.
Yeah, he's becoming, I feel like, one of your favorite drivers to talk about. You are just super impressed with him. I feel like every episode we get on here, you're just impressed with everything he's done, and I'm the same way. I feel like he still needs a breakthrough win in a late model stock.
Yeah, he does. And I think he's turning a lot of heads right now. I think he does need that win, however, though. Another rookie.
There's a difference between being up front and being in victory lane.
Yes. Another rookie I was impressed with was Bumgardner, Michael Bumgardner, who was just recently the Hickory champion this year in late model stocks. So another rookie I was impressed by. I think he went out late to mechanical failure, but he was running in the top 10 pretty much for the most of the night before that. Obviously, we just got to talk to Landon about the battle booth between him and Lee Pulliam, and that was, one of the greatest battles I've seen in quite a while. I thought it was an excellent weekend from Martinsville.
Yeah, it was everything you can ask for in a race, and really these last 2 weeks have been everything you can ask for in a race. Every race I've watched has blown me away, and that's kind of what I want to talk about. When we hop into dirt for just a little bit, is I know you've been busy and have missed a lot of what's going on in the dirt world, so we're just going to kind of run through it. The Knoxville Super Late Model Nationals, usually a race that everybody kind of marks on their calendar as one to ignore, because everybody's like, late models don't belong on Knoxville. It is a sprint car track. It is their home. I think it was Jonathan Davenport that says he hates going there every time, even when he runs good. And you can tell that it's a sprint car track when you look at the crowd, and there's maybe 2,000 or 3,000 people there. And it is a full, stadium, like 20,000, 30,000 seats probably, and there's nobody there. But what a race. They were swapping back and forth the lead through 4 or 5 different drivers all night long, and Hudson O'Neal ended up winning. He actually completely junked his car on his prelim night, had to go to a backup car, and ended up winning the whole thing.
Well, and talking about these nationals, is this like the Knoxville Nationals as well? It's kind of separate from the regular series? Or is it still a part of Lucas Oil?
It's part of Lucas Oil.
Okay. So it's not
it's
like
Lucas
the
Oil
Knoxville
points.
Nationals with sprint cars where it's just kind of its own ordeal.
Yeah, which, I mean, the World of Outlaws is the sanctioning body for the Knoxville Nationals, but I don't think it is a points race.
Oh,
where
okay.
this is a points race for Lucas Oil.
Okay, gotcha. Because I was going to look up the standings once again,
Yeah.
which I feel like we've been doing here as of late. I don't remember if it's World of Outlaws or Lucas Oil. Lucas Oil is just a straight up points at the end of the year, right?
Lucas Oil has
Or do they have
last year they had a 2-race final, and in 2023 they had a 1-race final with the top 4 each.
Okay, so
And I am
we'll have to
not
see.
100%. We're gonna have to see what the format is this year because it's been kind of confusing to find intel on that.
Well, I can tell you
So I would
that
assume
the
it's still a
top
normal
four,
format.
the top 4 are really, really, really far away from everybody else. The
And
next
the top
closest
2 are
car
really
back.
far away from the next 3.
Well, that's true. So Hudson O'Neal, 5 wins on the year. I still think it's crazy because, I mean, his year started off terrible. Same with Brandon Shepard, and they're both 4th and 5th. So,
and I mean we spent 2 months of this show talking about how abysmal of a year they were having, and now they're in the top 5 in points.
yeah.
But
So-
no, I mean that was just a big win for him. And when you get a minute, you need to go watch this race because the top line and bottom line were working about the same. And I mean, Jonathan Davenport led for a while. Devin Moran would lead. Hudson O'Neal would lead. I think Brandon Shepard led a few laps. Bobby Pierce got up to the front, and then he had mechanical issues. Ricky Thornton Jr. got a few laps led. Every big name in super late model racing led a few laps at some point this race or was in the top 5. I mean, it was awesome. Then Ricky Thornton Jr. won the Brownstown 100, picking up $50,000 at the 100 lapper at, I believe, is a quarter-mile track that is almost a perfect circle. It's one of those weird tracks, no fence, no wall, just a berm, and it's a fun race. It was another great race.
Well, I mean, it almost reminds me, thinking about that kind of track, of Oxford Plains.
It's a lot like Oxford Plains, but dirt, like very similar. When you say that, I'm picturing it in my head. I'm like, okay, it's the same track.
Hey, well, Oxford
It is
Plains
the
has some
same
dirt
track.
outside of the asphalt.
Yeah,
So,
Brownstown has a dirt outside of the dirt.
hey, that's true.
But yeah, that's really what the main stories were in super late models. One big shout out I want to make: Dason Pursley swept the USAC portion of the 4 Crown Nationals at Eldora, winning in the midget, winning in the non-wing 410, and winning in the Silver Crown car. And I believe he ran around the top 10 in the high limit portion of the night. I mean, it was an insane night for him. That's something not very many drivers have done. I know Logan Seavey's done it. Kyle Larson's done it. JJ Yaley's done it. And I don't think very many drivers other than those 3 have done it. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Yeah, no. It's
So, I mean,
impressive.
huge for him.
Pursley's been
Huge for
having a
him,
great
huge for his
year.
career. Yeah, and he's finally starting to show that speed in the winged car.
Yeah. Well, and that's been one of his struggles. And, on the flip side of that, you've talked about the struggles for another driver and Logan Seavey.
Yeah, and it's weird that I say struggle because he does have 3 wins from early in the year. And when I say struggle, for a driver that won over 20 races last year, it's a struggle. But anybody else would be thrilled to be having the year he's having. I think he's 3rd
Yeah.
in sprint car points. He's, I think, in the top 5 in midget points, too. I mean, he's always near the front, competing for wins. He just hasn't had that extra speed that he had the last 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the problem was. He's with the same exact team. I don't know if any changes have happened with the equipment or staff on that team. It's just the speed just disappeared after the spring this year.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. It's been weird.
Yeah. Yeah. World Outlaws Championship battle. 9 races left to go. We was at 142 points last week. Now it's at 150. I think David Gravel is starting to get closer to locking it up. I think if Buddy doesn't knock another 15 or 20 points off in the next 2 races, I think you can say that it's David Gravel's championship.
Yeah, because how many races do we have left to go?
9 races.
Okay.
9
Let's
races.
see.
So, I mean, he's looking at averaging about 15 points to make up a race, which is doable. I mean, we saw Gravel have a terrible race and Buddy make up 40 points in one race. So, I mean, anything can happen. But it seems like as long as David Gravel doesn't have a catastrophic failure, he's picking up his second championship in a row.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just by this point in the season, it's just pretty tough.
I mean,
also, I know this is kind of off script, but I actually just saw it looking along with their website, but might as well be talking about World of Outlaws. KCP, they just parted ways with Emerson Axum and are picking up Corey Eliason to finish up the rest of this season. Did you see that?
and how recently was this?
I think I saw this today. Yeah, no, it was yesterday.
I looked at the World of Outlaws points today on their website, but I didn't look at anything else. I did not realize that they parted ways with Emerson Axum.
So that deal that came together, 2 months ago?
2 months ago at Eldora.
Is now they
that is voided.
They didn't like it. So
Which, I mean, I don't think Emerson was doing bad.
no,
He did not improve from what Gio brought to that car.
Yeah.
I think it was a very similar situation, maybe a slight step back, but they're looking for an improvement. I think they're using the last 9 races of the year just to experiment with supposedly Corey Eliason, but I wouldn't be surprised if they brought in even another driver before the end of the season.
Yeah, well, and I think they haven't made any 2026 plans in terms of drivers. So
yeah, I mean, I think they're really experimenting for
you
the
know
end of the
what
season.
it makes me think about. I wonder if
Gio's not going back to that ride.
No. That's not what I was gonna say. I wonder what Sheldon Haunshield's looking at, because you know that he's parting way with the NASCAR.
That is an opening that I haven't thought of. I know Casey Kane Racing still has all of the 9-car equipment, even though Casey hasn't been racing.
Yeah.
Since the middle of the summer. So I think those are the two cars you got to look at for him.
Yeah. So just a little continued silly season within the sprint car world, which I think has been the craziest. Oh, it's been wild.
And this is your first year as a sprint car fan, and we're throwing you to the wolves.
I know. Well,
Trying to keep up with what's going on.
I know. I'll let you take a lead back.
I can barely keep up with it.
I know. Well, I just wanted to put that in there because I got reminded of it. I know.
And while we're on the topic, Dale Blaney is now the oldest winner in World of Outlaws competition.
Beats out his brother.
Beats out his brother Dave.
So,
which is awesome that they won it at their home track at Sharon Speedway. That track hosts the Lou Blaney Memorial. That track is huge for their family and means a lot to them. So to see him get that win against elite competition,
I would love to see Ryan Blaney do some sprint car racing.
I think everybody but Roger Penske would love to see that.
That's very true.
I think everyone but Roger Penske wants to see that happen.
Yeah, that's probably a good point. Speaking of more sprint cars,
over to High Limit, they have had some craziness over the last 2 weeks. One thing I want to talk to you about, and you don't have to watch the race you think of this story. Danny Sams won a race with 10 laps completed, and they called it official. It was a 35-lap race at Bridgeport.
What?
And they said
it rained?
At 10 laps, it rained, and at lap 10, they said, you know what, we've lost the track. This race is official.
I thought they had to get halfway.
Well, most sanctioning bodies have that, and then the High Limit rulebook, it is up to the race director's discretion.
Oh.
What do you think about that rule?
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
I don't like that because then, I mean, it's very easy for fans to blame this race official, the race director. It's also very easy for bias to come into play. You know, we're all humans at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, if the race director is secretly a Danny Sams fan, you know, you could say, I think it should be at least halfway. I mean, I feel like that is pretty much the standard for most racing series. I think that should be the standard.
I don't even know if halfway.
Because what is this race director looking for? Like, are they looking for good hard racing and the win earned? You know, like, and how do you determine that? Like, did he make a lot of passes? Did he dominate?
And you have to think, if you're
what
Danny Sams,
what are these mystery criteria?
And you're Danny Sams, this is your first High Limit win, first national 410 win, does that taint the win for you?
If I'm Danny Sams, the rules are the rules.
A third of the race.
If I'm Danny Sams, the rules are the rules. That I have no
he gets
change
a
in that.
trophy.
Well, I know. I'm saying if I'm Danny Sams, why am I going to try to put myself down off of their rule book? I mean, that's the rules.
Yeah.
So I mean,
he was leading.
If I'm Danny Sams, first career win. Let's freaking go. Put a stamp on it. Put it in the book.
Mm-hmm. I just thought this was maybe the weirdest story.
Yeah, definitely.
That we've come across this week. Like, this is the strangest moment. Definitely this month.
We had a fairly straight up month of September. Oh, speaking of which, we're going to have to do a race of the month.
Speaking of which, that is going to be a hard decision to make.
Yeah, seriously.
But yeah, so that's what I want to know is, like, where do you draw the line? Do you say it's halfway? Do you say it's 2/3 of the way?
I got to say it's at least halfway.
And yeah, I just don't like the way that the rule was worded, that it's up to the race director's discretion.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
The only thing that I can think about is maybe, like,
if they're
that all these drivers come out, well, that or like that all these drivers come out, no matter what you're doing, it's a lot of money to travel. And if the race is unofficial and you raced it, you've spent the money to be here, then that means there's no payouts if you don't declare winners and stuff. So then you just went and lost a ton of money for nothing.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to look at it from the
idea
of employee and employer. These race teams are technically employees of High Limit.
Exactly.
And if they go to work and don't get paid, that's a problem.
Yeah, so that's the only way that I can think about it. And maybe that rule is like that, but still, I think it makes it very easy to blame, the race director and say, "Oh."
I would almost think you have to come up with a. I mean, I know that's kind of a corny thing to say, a rainy day fund.
Yeah.
And say, hey, if a race is unofficial, everybody that made the feature gets this much money divided up, and everybody that showed up that didn't make the feature gets this much money.
Right. No, I like that. That's a great idea.
Because that way it guarantees that these teams aren't taking. I mean, yeah, you don't win a race, you're taking a loss in racing. Like, we can agree on that. But I mean, that way it's
when it comes to dirt racing,
maybe
you could finish top 5 and still be in the profit margin.
Yeah, but I mean, this wasn't a major race. This was
you're correct. In the normal standpoint of a race, yes.
Yeah, so I think you just have to find a way to protect these teams while not. I don't know. I'm not going to say giving away fake wins because it's a real win. It counts for the points. He gets a trophy. He gets a check. It means just as much to him as it does anyone else when they win, but maybe to the fans it doesn't.
Right.
And so I kind of think you have to have a way to protect the teams while keeping a little bit of integrity.
Yeah.
But let's go to the most recent high limit race, Path Valley in Pennsylvania, a 1/5 of a mile bull ring. It took them almost an hour to complete 35 laps.
I bet.
1/5 of a mile
I
track.
bet.
They could not get any laps in. This is the shortest track they go to on the schedule. And when I watch this race, I'm not exaggerating when I say this track is not very much bigger than Millbridge. I mean, it is smaller than the track of the Chili Bowl.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And, I mean, credit to Tanner Thorson for winning and Brady Bacon for getting second.
Hey, Tanner Thorson on a freaking run.
He's on a heater right now. Like, he is.
First career win and then picks up his second, within the same month.
And I think that has to go, says a lot about his talent and his team. Like, the talent has always been there. I've seen what he can do in a midget. I've seen him dominate in USAC. I've seen him win 2 Chili Bowls. So I know how good he is. He just has to figure out how to win. And, I mean, that's in any sport. Even if you're good, you still have to know how to win. But now he's figured out how to win. And I don't see him relenting anytime soon. And I think he's going to be one of the 4 or 5 cars to beat in high limit next year.
Yeah. Well, getting that first career win is a big breakthrough for your mentality as well.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And their points battle over at high limit. We've been talking about all these great points battles. 4 cars, within 126 points of each other, coming down to the final month and a half of the season.
Wow.
fourth place in high limit is 24 points closer than Buddy Kofoid is to David Gravel. And we're talking about how good of a championship battle that is.
That's a great
And
point.
yes, and two of these cars are cars that have split duties with drivers because of injuries.
Yeah.
So
Well, because isn't
the
how
actual
high limit does their driver, quote
They
unquote,
do
driver
their-
championship? It's
they-
just owner.
Yeah, there is a driver championship, but the owner championship is the one with the payout.
Oh.
So like how in NASCAR there's a payout for both, and obviously that makes sense. But in high limit they say, you know what, this is sprint car racing, and like we've seen this year, the silly season happens throughout the year, so they're protecting their car owners to come back next year.
Yeah, I like that.
And so Rico is leading right now. He's got a 34-point lead over the Ridge and Sun Racing, who is Aaron Reitzel in there full time. He's had a few guys hop in while he was hurt. I meant to put the 87 car, not the 88 car. My bad. Brad Sweet is in third, 52 points back. In the Clausen Marshall car, Sunshine Gio Selzy's 126 points back. Rico had a terrible race at Path Valley, and that championship lead got really, really pushed in close. So this has been a great championship battle. And I mean, as good as Aaron Reitzel was right before his injury and how he is coming right back, I think he might pass Rico here at the end of the year.
I love my boy Reitzel. Let's freaking go. I don't know why, but I've just become a huge Aaron. Dude, I want to find some merch.
He drives the heck out of the car.
I want some merch. Can we find me some merch?
We can probably find you some. We need to find us some B Main merch, by the way.
That's a great point. Hey, I'm almost done with the logos. I promise.
To getting the logo in a clear form so we can.
I know.
Get some
it's a lot more difficult than you'd think. I accidentally hit the stop recording button instead of the mute button for myself because I'm eating this protein bar. It's dinner time.
That protein bar? Is that your dinner?
It's good. No. I'm gonna have actual dinner. It's good, bro. We're not sponsored, but RX bars, freaking good. Can't lie.
Nice.
Go ahead.
To end out the dirt, I just want to give a quick shout out to Mitchell Moles winning the USAC race the other night at Paragon by 0.02 of a second in a super tight finish. That wraps up dirt. You got any thoughts? Anything you want to add to it?
I was finishing my blueberry RX bar. Well, hey, that's just a little bit closer than we saw the finish at Martinsville. But good job to Mitchell Moles in USAC. Dirt is fun. Dirt is good, and I'm happy about dirt.
You gotta get back in the groove.
I know. I really do.
Dirt racing.
Hey, well, okay. Before we close out
I'll
the
hold
section,
you hostage on Discord, and we'll watch some races together.
That's fine. Just let me know.
All right.
Hey, I've got no home football games this weekend.
Nice. Well, this weekend I will be at the racetrack.
Gosh dang it, Gavin.
I gotta go work. But who's your bonehead of the week?
Got to be Tristan McKee at Martinsville. I think did we forget to talk about it, or did we talk about it? I think we forgot to talk about it.
I think we forgot to talk about it.
Well, let's talk about it now.
I knew we were going to talk about it here, so let's talk about it because he right-reared Sam Yarborough. That's all there is to say.
Well, and he said in his interview that his spotter said quick clear, and he just kind of cut down. I could maybe understand that he's so in the moment, just listening to his spotter, that he does. But, I mean, he's right out your front windshield. I mean, you know how close you are to him. I don't know. I
don't think he had a reason to wreck him either, though.
No, and that's why that's another reason why I think it was maybe a possible mistake.
He's just trying to keep it off the wall.
No matter what, it wasn't good. And
it was awful.
I mean, you have to clean up those mistakes, whether it's with your spotter or it was him as a driver. Like, it shouldn't have happened, we don't want that. And I think Bobby McCarty made it very clear that even if it was a mistake or not, that's not what we want to see in late model stock racing.
No, and Tristan McKee is, over the last really few months, starting to get a reputation of a driver who makes some boneheaded decisions.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see a young driver that's that talented taint the rest of his career by being for lack of a better word, being an idiot.
Yeah. Well, and you got to
Because he
look
has
at.
he has too much talent to build a bad reputation and turn into a driver that nobody wants to work with.
Yeah. No, that's very true. So, but
He
yeah,
has
that's
all
my
the
thought.
talent in the world, I think.
Oh yeah.
Well, my bonehead happened on Sunday, the end of the NASCAR Cup Series race. Oh, Denny Hamlin. And I know that you're going for win number 60. That is a huge milestone win. But you knocked the car that you own out of the next round of the playoffs and didn't get the win either. And obviously, you get out of the car. I mean, you have not many regrets about the decision. I mean, there's nothing you can do to take it back now. And I think he handled himself decently after the race. But man, his driver was not happy with him. And you got to think Michael Jordan might be the most frustrated person of all out of this deal.
Yeah. I mean, it Denny is a driver for Joe Gibbs Racing. He is
And his
paid.
job is to win the race.
He is paid to win races, win a championship for Joe Gibbs Racing. When he is in the seat on Sunday, he works for Joe Gibbs.
Yeah.
Monday through Friday or Saturday, he can be worrying
The
about
owner of
2311,
2311.
the owner of 2311. But when it comes to Sunday, he doesn't do anything, with 2311.
No.
That's why he's not the majority owner. That's why Michael Jordan is the majority owner. That's why when Michael Jordan's there, he's sitting on a 2311 pit box.
Now here's my question. Following up with that, though.
What?
Now, Michael Jordan is the majority owner, and Denny Hamlin's the minority owner of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan has obviously probably a lot more money than Denny Hamlin, and is the main financial factor in keeping the lights on at 2311.
Mm-hmm.
If you're Denny Hamlin, how do you explain what happened to Sunday to Michael Jordan?
I think
that is my question.
I think
what
Michael
does Denny
Jordan.
say to him?
I think when they were starting this race team, they've already had this conversation that Michael Jordan has to understand that when Denny Hamlin is racing for Joe Gibbs, he's racing for Joe Gibbs, and like Denny said, Monday through Saturday, he's one of the co-owners of 2311, helping develop that team, trying to help them get into the playoffs. But when it comes to Sunday, he's paid by Joe Gibbs. And I think they've had that conversation before they even started this team. Because I think they knew this scenario would possibly happen at some point. I don't think Denny at all planned on getting into him and getting him into the wall. I think, honestly, a couple of factors played into his hands. Obviously, he had lost power steering 60 laps before that. His arms are exhausted. I mean, it would be very easy for him to miss the bottom, which he did. Mm-hmm. He also understands that his next win will be his 60th. He really wants that. And so he knew he had one shot. It was down in turn 3, and to get in better than Bubba. And I think he just missed the bottom. His arms might have played a little bit of a factor, being tired, and with his excitement and hunger to get to number 60, he made a mistake that you don't quite see out of a veteran. That's my take. I'm not a Denny Hamlin fan, but I think it really wasn't as crazy as people thought it was when you really, really look at it.
Well, I mean, when you analyze the decision, it makes sense, but it's one of those things. When you look back at it, especially watching it in real time when it was happening, everybody at the same time was thinking, what are you doing?
Yeah. No, yeah.
And being like we are, we're majority Ford fans most of the time. And watching Chase Elliott win was quite the funny moment at the end of that, because he came from 10th place.
I know.
On the restart, he restarted 10th and won on a green white checkered.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So,
I'm going to let you throw up Badass of the Week.
Yes. Let's see. Where do I want to go? Yes. Mine is also going to come from kind of from Martinsville. It kind of gets capped off in Martinsville. It's not exactly
Okay.
a move, but it's Jared Fryer. Jared Fryer is a Cars Tour champion. Doesn't race full time anymore, but makes late model stock starts where he wants to. And in his 6 notable starts this year in the Cars Tour and select late model stock big time events, he has 2 wins, 2 2 second place finishes, and 2 third place finishes. That's his career stat for 2025. I mean when Jared Fryer shows up, especially in 2025, he has been up front.
That's wow.
And that's
all I can say to that is wow.
I know.
I'm going to give Tyler Ripkema my badass of the week. From that finish at New Hampshire, he crossed the line with 3 wheels on his car.
Yeah.
Justin Bonsignor went for he threw in a slider on Justin Bonsignor. You know, when you're New Hampshire's almost a super speedway essentially for modifieds. Like they are almost flat out. They do lift in the corners, but the draft is huge there. He threw a slider in 3 and 4, got cleared. Bonsignor came up to try to get him back on the outside down the front stretch. He blocked him, got turned into the wall, kept his foot in it, and just crossed the line in front, pretty much parallel to the wall. Or not parallel, straight facing into the wall with 3 wheels on his car. I mean, what is more awesome than finishing a race on 3 wheels?
Oh, nothing. That was crazy. I think it definitely could have been avoided. I don't really know why he decided to start to come up.
It was awesome.
It was awesome, but I mean they had to do a lot of work on that right front. He still won, so.
I mean, if I'm his team, I'm willing to do work on that right front if we won. Now, if that move wouldn't have worked, if that block wouldn't have worked, and someone else would have won, I'd be mad and I'd be frustrated.
Oh yeah.
But it worked, so it was awesome. Rest of the weekend in New Hampshire. Rest of the weekend in New Hampshire was all right, solid racing. Corey Haim won the truck race. Jake Garcia and Chandler Smith got eliminated from the playoffs. Nothing else much really happened during the truck race.
Yeah, no, there was nothing crazy notable.
Cup race on last week in New Hampshire. Is Penske back? Is Penske in championship form? Because
it's highly likely.
A flat 1 mile track, and all of the Penske cars showed speed, even Josh Berry with the Wood Brothers, which is a Penske car. And they were all on fire. Ryan Blaney especially just was in a league of his own.
Yeah. No, I have to
Joey and
agree.
Josh Berry were 2 great cars that the rest of the field struggled to keep up with, and they didn't have anything for Ryan. He was just a flawless race.
Yeah.
And now that we know that Penske has the speed on that style of track, are they going to be able to make it to Phoenix?
Yeah.
Are they going to be able to make it through round of 8?
Well, and I mean, obviously, Blaney's locked in with the win in New Hampshire. And then Joey,
he's above the cut line.
And he's above the cut line, but a little bit less well off after Kansas. But
and the maybe his worst track on the schedule.
Yeah, but he goes in better than he did last year. Yes. And he missed it by like 2 points last year before the DQ for Bowman. Yeah.
I think you got to play for stage points this week.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's what Joey was doing in Kansas.
Yeah, if you can play to get those stage points, if you can get a good 5 or 10 point cushion with stage points, I mean, even if it is his worst track, I trust Joey to get a top 20.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think he's finished top 10 in all of the Rovals.
Yeah, so I think he's going to be fine. But, I mean, it's going to be a struggle. It is going to be a nail-biter of a race for that team. Me being there, being around the pit box, that's going to be a we're going to be on pins and needles Sunday.
Dude, I've got to come to a race with you at some point, bro.
I've been saying, try to come to Martinsville.
I know, I'm working on it.
Get South Boston and Flo to hook you up.
Hey, well, if me and my dad, if my boss could help me out, then my dad might be able to swing it.
Yeah.
So, going on to Kansas, I think, continuing with NASCAR, I gotta say, Brendan
You want to talk
Queen
about?
is
Yeah.
freaking amazing. 8th win in ARCA at Kansas, and he finishes top 10 in the Xfinity race as well. I mean, this dude deserves a ride.
I'm going to throw this out there. That is the most impressive run a colleague car has had all year.
Yep. Well, and guess what?
Maybe not the best finish because I think he ended up, 8th or 9th?
When
But,
Michael
he was
McDowell and
running in
Carson
the top.
Hocevar both hopped in that car, they were running in the top 10.
I mean, I think Brendan Queen's in that category of a driver. I mean, I think he's as good as Hocevar and McDowell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to get it right.
Yeah.
And
I wouldn't be
speaking of
surprised
rides,
if we see him in one of those colleague trucks next year.
I can see that.
So,
And here's another. Speaking of rides, why is Carson Kvapil not on a full schedule next year?
yeah, that's the question I've been asking. When I heard that news, I was really
a lot
surprised.
of us can speculate that it is money. And with him splitting the ride with Zilic is a Cup driver, so he's only going to get 5 rides. So if we can say Carson Kvapil has 30 of the 35 races already on his schedule, he should be able to fill out the last few of those races with, Chevy mid-pack teams. He should be able to hop in a Jordan Anderson car or hop in an Alpha Prime car and just bring it home and make sure he keeps that full-time schedule.
Yeah, well, and I would really love to know what the deal is because I feel like Carson Kvapil is one of those guys that's Dale's guys. And so, I feel like he's very similar to Josh Berry. And he came over.
He's not flashy.
And it took Josh Berry a little bit, but Junior stuck with him. And, and Josh Berry started winning in the Xfinity Series, got the Cup ride, and did well.
You got to remember, it took Josh Berry until his 3rd year to be full-time in Xfinity.
I know. Oh, really? I thought he was full-time before that.
I think you had 2 part-time years. The first year was very part-time.
Okay. So maybe it is money. Maybe it is just financials. Because I imagine a lot of that Bass Pro backing comes from JRM rather than just Carson Kvapil as well. But I really hope that he can fill out the rest of his schedule as well because I do believe he has race winning capability. He's shown speed many times this year, just hasn't quite been able to get the job done. I think he's also been caught up in a lot of unlucky business.
And you have to remember, this kid skipped ARCA, skipped trucks. He is coming. He was running full-time
and he's the best.
He's
the best of them all, besides Connor Zilic.
Yeah, I mean, he is in the top 5 in the standings for the regular season format. He's above the cut line, going to the next round most likely. And just because he hasn't won a race, he has a lot of people doubting him and saying, he probably isn't going to come back next year. And sponsors like, well, why haven't you been in victory lane? Well, I mean, he essentially went from
short tracks
not
to
even
big time
in
NASCAR
to the 2nd division in the top team in the 2nd division.
Exactly. And he's got Justin Allgaier, who is one of the absolute best, a huge veteran. Connor Zilic, who is just, a generational talent. It's just unwiley what they've been able to do. And then, of course, Sammy Smith is decent. He's been running with them for the past couple of years. He's won before. He has the odds stacked against him even within his own team. And yet he's, top 5 regular season standings. He's in the playoffs. He's competed for wins. I just don't understand what's holding them back from being able to say, all right, let's do another full-time year.
Yeah, and I want him to have that full-time ride next year because he needs some confidence too. And can you imagine not being full-time, knowing you're not full-time next year, but having the talent he has? What does that do to him mentally?
It's tough. I can't imagine.
He has an immense amount of pressure on him that he shouldn't have to deal with.
Yeah, I agree.
Because he's one of the most talented drivers out there.
Yeah. especially one of the most talented rookies.
Yeah.
So I'd put him and Taylor Gray in a very similar box. And guess what?
Mhm.
Taylor Gray also hasn't won yet this year.
No, and he's shown a lot of speed at a lot of different places.
And he's in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it hurts me that he's not going to be full-time next year, at least at this moment. I really hope stuff will work out for him. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have. I think we kind of already talked about Denny as of recent.
Yeah, and I mean, he's, even within his own team, he's having some issues with Ty Gibbs back at Loudon 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and that was a little bit of a different standpoint. One in the
I know it was a
championship,
different
one out.
standpoint. But my thing here is, we have seen Denny decision make himself out of being a champion
Yeah,
probably
that's true.
half a dozen times. And I'm coming from this as not being a Denny Hamlin fan or a Denny Hamlin hater. He is probably one of the best drivers NASCAR's ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
And if he finishes his career without a championship, that's a travesty on the sport.
Yeah.
And to see him at 44 years old making the same decisions that have costed him championships since he was 25.
This is the first chink in the armor we've seen this year of that championship run. I'd say the round of 16 was perfect. But this round of 12 has been weird.
And it just kind of makes you scratch your head and wonder what is going on in his head right now.
Yeah. So
because this is the last two seasons, especially, have been when I think, okay, we're looking at a new Denny Hamlin right now. He has a different outlook on life. He's making smarter decisions in the race car. He's not choking away the championship.
Yeah.
And now that we're getting down to the nitty gritty of the playoffs, he's making enemies.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. We're just gonna have to keep watching Roval this weekend. I don't think that's going to be any sort of standout for them, but he's just going to have to try to slide through.
What happens if he's below the cut line in the round of 8 and Ty Gibbs decides to imitate Matt Kenseth?
Oh man,
I mean, but that could
I don't
happen.
think
like,
it would.
Bubba
I don't
could do
think
the
it
same
ever
thing.
would. But oh my gosh.
But I mean, can you imagine? Like, I wouldn't. I mean, I would be surprised, but I wouldn't be shocked if either of those drivers decided to.
I'd be shocked.
Do something.
I'd be shocked.
I wouldn't be shocked, but I would be surprised.
I'd be shocked.
If either
I'm not
of
gonna
them
lie.
decided to make sure Denny didn't win the championship.
Now, if it was someone from another team or not a team that he owns, maybe I would be less shocked. But
yeah,
either of those two drivers, I mean, if Bubba does that, he's getting fired. And then if Ty Gibbs does that,
mean, if 2311 loses the lawsuit, he's getting fired anyway.
I know. I don't know. I just think that's a crazy call.
If you have nothing to gain, never take anything away from somebody who has nothing to lose.
It's true.
And that's what we were looking at Kansas at the end of the race. And what's funny is, do you know what track the Logano and Kenseth saga started at?
Kansas.
Yes.
I think
that's a good spot to end it.
That is. I like that.
Build some suspense.
I do. We'll see what transpires here as we round down this championship for NASCAR. 5 races remaining. So we'll just have to see. It continues at the Roval this weekend. We had an excellent time getting to talk with Landon Pembelton. Go check out his socials, all of his sponsors as well. Pembelton Forestry, as well as all the Pembelton products. They do a lot, and it helps supports them. We'd love to continue to help support them and a ton of other local drivers. They're just able to get it done, like Landon Pembelton did, winning his second Martinsville clock. If you want to sponsor us, it's the B-Main Podcast 2024 at gmail.com. We would love to have your inquiries, and we would love to just continue to be able to grow. Thank you for listening. We've appreciated your time. This has been episode 19, and we'll see you next time for number 20.